Hello everyone, welcome to another stream here at Time Traveler's Coin Exchange. Tonight we're going to be looking at a roll of 50 1974D Lincoln Memorial cents. They're all from mint sets and they're still all in their original Mint Cello. So we're going to take a look at, well, one second, let me get into my studio. Alright, so here's the first one. And these ones I got off of eBay, and they came from California, and they came in a AppMex Ziploc bag like this. Did not buy them from AppMex, but I'm going to take them all out of here. Get them ready over there. I got a jumper, no jumping allowed, but we'll take a look at them here one at a time. And so basically, our goal here is to get about 1,000 Mint Cellos of every date and every mint. And we're going to be making videos of different rolls of different dates. And then we're just going to place them back up on eBay. But our ultimate goal here is that after we get about 1,000 of every date and mint, we're going to go back through the rolls. I'll watch the videos and I'll find which ones have the best coins in them, and I will send those in for grading. Gonna start some really large PCGS grading and just try to get every date and every mint and just do everything all at once, and pretty much have eBay stocked with every date and every mint of Lincoln cents. I've been trying to keep in stock, and it's just since I started making these videos of the PCGS graded coins, I just can't keep everything in stock, and I can't rely on what other people are selling. So my goal is to start doing it myself. So I'll probably start with a few hundred a month and do some bulk submissions of like 4 to 8 different dates and mints, and then once I start to get things rolling a little bit, maybe negotiate a better price with PCGS, I will then start hopefully submitting a couple decades at a time under a better price, because I'll be able to afford to get more graded at a time. And so while we go through these rolls, we're basically, just trying to get accustomed to looking through the Mint Cellos. We're trying to be able to, find out kind of how much we can average, like how many 66s we could possibly find in a batch of 50. Just figure out, like, a lot of these rolls, a lot of these coins have probably already been gone through, but we're hoping to get lucky here and there. We're also looking for any beautifully toned coins, any coins that are like starting to tone beautifully, and just try to get an average feel for what every year, what every mint looks like. Like I'm starting to see some spotting on some of these coins from 1974. The overall luster seems pretty good. Seems like they're not too damaged. It seems like spottiness in this batch so far is about the worst thing we're looking at. And so, I can see a couple little spots maybe on the rim there. Maybe a little nick on his cheek. Little scrapper Lincoln. Couple little spots on the back. So I feel like for most of the coins that I have from the 60s and 70s, by the time there's like more than about 5 or 6 little black spots on them, they're usually in the MS64, 65 category. I definitely don't see a lot of 66s with more than 1 or 2 little spots on them. And same thing with, if there's more than about 3 of these little kind of, it seems like it takes about 3 of those little cuts, and boom, you no longer have a 66 on a coin even as bright as this. I'm guessing this is like a 63 or a 64 here. The reverse does look pretty good. Another little ding on the back above the C. A dot to the right at 3 o'clock. just trying to get a feel. You know, I want to be able, I feel like I've heard somewhere that it, you know, takes a grader about 5 to 10 seconds looking at a coin to be able to like properly grade it. And so, you know, you don't really have to analyze and pick everything apart. I don't even know what. Alright, this is the grossest Mint Cello of the roll award so far. We got 2 mud pennies in the roll we did earlier today from the 1979 Philadelphia that we looked at. Nice luster on this coin. Couple fine little scratches. Pretty nice reverse. I believe that is actually on the coin. Let's check it out. No. Looks like it moved. I don't know. Little dot on the O. I'd say this might be a 65. I know it's got a really ugly, I don't know, I almost want to say it's a 66. Could we be that lucky to find a 66? It seems like everything is on the Mint Cello. I think that one's a 65 at least. Excuse me. Wasn't that lovely, folks? Got more where that came from. Alright, let's take a look at this one. Couple little distracting marks, a couple little distracting spots. Let's call it a 64. Check out the reverse. Those spots might just be on the cello, but you know, I see a couple little distracting marks on the reverse. Let's just call this a 64. We've seen prettier. If you guys are watching and you guys want to play grade that coin with me, you guys are more than welcome to. I'd love to know how off I am. It looks like not very consistent luster. It does kind of look cool, but I know that looking cool doesn't necessarily make a coin a high grade. A couple little distracting marks, just the luster and the eye appeals just a little uneven. While I'm not seeing anything major, I do see a couple little nicks on the back. Let's call it a 64. We got some ugly rim. Yeah, all of a sudden, boom, that just stands out. Let's call it a 63. Ding, 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 63. All right, moving on. And if you guys are watching this video from eBay, you know, I'm not a professional grader. I'm trying to learn, and so I'm not saying definitively. I'm just throwing out, you know, these are Mint State BU coins as far as eBay rules go, but you know, I'm trying to learn how to grade, and so feel free to correct me. I am happy to learn and take advice. No, for the most part, nothing too distracting. I know, I would say this could almost be a 65 on the reverse. Oop, there we go. 64, 63. What do you guys think? Wow. Got hit with the ugly buckshot. Alright. Well, it had a nice front. Let's take a look. Alright. That little dot on his chest is actually just on the cello, same on the nose. Couple distracting marks in the right field. Maybe a little groove between the U and S and trust. Well, let's call it a 64 unless it has an awesome back. I believe all that damage is on the cello except for above the N and the T. Let's imagine that thing's a floater. Let's just call this a 64. We'll move on. Alright, next coin. What's going on the center? whatever was going on is not going on anymore. That's what I like to see. I like to see it on the outside. Okay, 63, 64. I'm not feeling it, this coin. You know, I've seen worse, we've seen worse, but I'm just not feeling it in this coin. Let's pass. Alright, we got spots on the front. Hello, spots. Take a look at the reverse. I mean, who wants to? I don't think anyone wants spotted coins. I don't think anyone wants to grade them. I don't think anyone wants to buy them. Maybe if it's like an error or a variety or something, maybe then. And I mean, like a spot or two spots, you know, something, you know, if someone's trying to fill a hole, or if it's a tough date. I don't think 74 is a particular tough date. I'll have to check and see what I have for 74Ds. A little bit nicer of a back, but I think we lost on the front, right? Let's check it out. I think the dot is floating there. I think the other one might be floating too. I know this one might be a 64, 65. We need more maybe 65s here. I don't think we're gonna get it here. All right. Isn't that a beaut, folks? Beauty. Finest spotted coins you will see on YouTube tonight. Looks like somehow these coins got circulated inside their Mint Cellos. Alright, are they all going to be like this? I mean, these look like a 1960 or a 1961 quality. Alright, front of this one looks pretty nice fields. What's going on? I think that's the cello on Lincoln's head. Reverse looks pretty nice here. There's a couple little teeny spots, but hey. Looks like that damage was floating on the cello. I'd say we maybe got a 65 here. We'll move on. No, not all these coins should be perfect. If they're all perfect, none of them would be worth anything. All you need is an example of one. Take a look at the front here. It's got some nice luster, some tiny little things. I'd say that's a pretty nice one. I'd say maybe a 65 too. Might be a ding between the N and the E. One on the N of cent. Not very distracting, kind of like hidden in the coin. Alright, next up, is that some junk hiding? Maybe something on the T up there? Barely noticeable. I think I can see it with the naked eye. That makes it noticeable. Let's check out the reverse. Maybe for my next stream I will set this up just a little bit more comfortable so I'm not like twisted in front of the camera. What do you guys think? Does that sound like a good plan? And I think I had a request for some 1982s. And I was like, wait, did they even make mint sets for 1982? And from what it was looking like, 1982 and 1983, I think you can only get souvenir sets and like, kind of like cello sets that people put together. So I don't think the souvenir sets looked pretty expensive. So unless somebody's got like, I actually think I did see some cut up by one person, and they all looked spotted, and they were expensive. Like, I think I might not be getting some 82s and 83s unless I stumble upon something a little bit cheaper. If I'm gonna do some 82s or 83s, I'm just gonna buy graded ones for the prices I was seeing. You know, maybe it makes them collectible in the fact that, you know, the Mint didn't release Mint sets for those years. More spots. Wow, look at that gouge. That is the Mint gouging its customer. So, I mean, it's actually a really pretty bright coin despite that deep cut. I mean, look, that's like pretty much the only distracting thing on the coin. It's like, they're like, this coin, we can't be releasing a Mint State 70 coin, we gotta stab it. Yeah, it looks like there's a scratch on the reverse as well. Oh well. Let's just take a look. I mean that's basically what we want all these coins to look like, just without that big mark. I feel like that's a good example. Kind of looks like maybe there's a little mark on his coat there too. I feel like his coat doesn't have quite that many folds in it. Alright, let's go next. Alright, the Harry coin. We haven't gotten a Clarence Thomas coin yet. Now we got one, folks. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys, I got this this roll from him. Yep. Famous roll. Almost looks like a D. I think it's just like it's the cellophane has the impression of the D in it. Let's move it around. Yep. There's no extra D floating there. They wouldn't do that. Alright, we got scratches. We got scratches. What do we give this? Like a 63? And, ooh, what happened to the steps? My goodness. My goodness, my goodness. 62? Come on, that's... I don't think I've ever seen MS-60 Lincoln Memorial send. Now what do we gotta do? I almost feel like they must be pretty rare. I feel like I've maybe only... I don't own any MS-60 or MS-61s, I don't think. I've got a couple MS-62s. I mean, it's like, basically, it's gotta, you know, to be mint state, it's gotta be like, you know, in packaging or something to like prove that it hasn't been like circulated. But it has, it's like, that's like essentially like, you win like the worst mint state coin award ever. What's going on with that 4? We may never know unless we zoom in. So no, we've definitely seen worse tonight. Let's check out the back before we give an opinion on the front. We got spot. Yeah. Let's give it an MS-63, MS-64. I mean, anything that we're like, is it MS-63 or 64? It's just, it's not ever gonna be graded unless it like all of a sudden like tones like purple haze. take a look at the front. Alright. Does this have toning on it? My lighting is not set up good for toning. I know, for the most part, this one looks pretty nice on the front. Let's look at the back and just got a dink on the T in United. Other than that, is that a couple dinks on the columns? Is the edge there chewed up? No, it's just a cellophane. Maybe a little dink down there below the E. No, this one might be a MS65. Guess I can see one little scratch on the left field there looking at it again. It's like I feel like, you know, there could be a couple little imperfections and stuff like that, but they just gotta, you know, if you stare at a coin long enough, you pick up more and more and more little points, but if they're, you know, pretty not noticeable and a grader's only spending 5-10 seconds looking at it, I guess you can get lucky sometimes that they just won't notice in the time that they got. I don't know, I'd say 64 on this. Got a cut cheek, we've got some spots. We've got some scratches on the back, we've got some spots. Got in our 63, 64. I mean, these are all going in the same pile. They're just all going right back in the bag that I got them in. I'm not cherry picking anything today. These are all just going to go back up for sale the way I got them. Alright, we've got a couple spots, couple scratches. Back looks pretty good. I don't know, we might be able to get a 64 on this one, just because the back looks fairly decent and none of the problems on the front were too bad. Let's see if that, yeah, that looks like that's just on the cellophane. Ugh. Thought I moved it out. I guess there was two grooves. Yeah, two little pups. There, we've got a couple little scratches. We've got one black spot. Just kind of a rough cellophane. Call it a 64 on the front. What's going on back there? We got more hair. Comes from a hairy household, folks. We got a little tone in there. What's going on there? Yeah, I can see something in person. It's not too dark. It's not attractive or detractive. It's just there. Will we find something rainbow in this roll? Stay tuned. Alright, we've got a couple little black spots. I know I keep pointing out the black spots. Some of them are just floating on these cellophanes. Cellophanes. I'm just not gonna take the time to find out each one. I think most of this is cellophane damage. We got one little thing that could be a dot. Looks pretty decent for the most part. Let's check out the reverse. Got a couple things on the reverse. Let's call it a 64. Next up, spot on the rim, spots on the coat, nice fields. I don't know, for the most part, like, the thing that seems to be plaguing this year in Mint, at least for this roll, is spots. I feel like most of the, you know, little dings and scratches are not that bad. You know, like if there weren't any spots on them, I feel like most of these would be 64, 65s. But then with the spots and stuff, I feel like you have spots and scratches. It's going down. We'll see, like this one's toned. Can't get a good light on it. Let's see. It's just kind of like a off red brown maybe. And I guess these can go red brown, and here it doesn't really look like it's toned. I'll take a look at the reverse. I'll take another look at the front. It's just kind of unevenness to the luster. You know, this one almost looks like it might change some colors at this point, but there's just nothing going good for it yet. Kind of an interesting pattern in his hair there. Almost looks like a Z, where he's got like an extra N. Maybe it's just on the cellophane. I don't know if you guys see that. I think it might have moved. Been looking at too many pennies. He's starting to look like a Vulcan. That would be some interesting Star Trek trivia if they had like a Vulcan go back and he was Abraham Lincoln. I don't know, this one looks like it's got some nice luster. It's got a couple of little dinks. I think that's a hair there. Fairly attractive. We'll call it MS65. Look at the reverse, couple little spots. I feel like those might knock it down to a 64. I don't know if I'm too critical on these, but I'd rather be too critical than be like, oh, it's a 66, it's a 67, and then like, you know, I'd rather like, you know, be sending in coins expecting them to be a 63 or like 63, 64 and have them end up like a 65 or something, but I'm not sending in anything I think could be a 63 or 64. I probably would only want to send in things that I was hoping were a 66 and be happy if they were at least a 65. For the most part, it looks like most of the field, no scratches. I feel like those little dots, the light just kind of, they stay with the light on them. So I think those are on top and not on the coin. Let's check out the reverse. Just trying to catch the light. It almost, yeah, this almost looks like it has a little bit of kind of toning, like red browning going on to it. It looks like a couple fine scratches on the back, kind of just blending into the toning. I don't know, maybe a MS64 red brown. I feel like that'd be fair. We got more spots. Step right up. Take a look. Check out some spots with us. 1974. 1974D. Looks like it was a nice bright coin before it got some spots on it. Say pass. Looks decent, pulling it out. Couple darker scratches, kind of a bright looking coin. Couple very small little black dots. Spot on the reverse, otherwise a kind of nice bright coin, only one little dink on the reverse. One of those black dots appears to be floating, at least one of them. See, I wonder if you send in a coin to PCGS and it just has like something like that, like just sitting on the top. It's like, would they attempt to blow it off, or would they just encapsulate it just the way it is? Would they use some pressurized air? I mean, it's like, I'd rather send things in the Mint Cello than open it up. It's again, pretty nice looking front. Little, I mean, that could be on the cello once again on the bottom left field. Yeah, it is. I believe it just moved to the right field. Coin kind of did a 180 in the flip. Maybe some very, very faint scratches on the right field. I don't know. This almost looks like it could be a 66 if there's nothing on the reverse, but there it is. There's 1, 2, 3 scratches I see, and 3, 4 little black dots. 64. Now we can look at some 64s and 65s graded by PCGS after. I think that's what I should do before I do these videos, is I should stare at 3 or 4 graded coins of the year and date just to have like a feel. But I mean, even looking at 50 of these, you can see how different every coin is. You know, nice bright fields, a few little scratches, nothing too big, nothing too obvious. Just stain on this coat. Nothing too big or obvious on the reverse. Say 64, 65. Here, I know this isn't the date. This is not included in it. I'm just want to look at a 65 real quick. You know, we got little tiny spots. I don't know, maybe I'm too harsh. Let's see, this is 65. You know, I'm seeing little scratches, just like the things I'm worrying about. I don't know, the luster doesn't seem as bright. Almost seems duller. More spots. Jeez, maybe I'm too harsh on myself. I don't know. Alright, let's look at another one of these now. Coin looks brighter. Little floating spots, I can see some of the shadows on them. Minimal scratches, minimal distractions. But that's, I guess like I said, I'd rather be more harsh. If I'm going to send things into bulk grading, I want like, you know, things to be 70, 80% at least as good as I'm hoping for. You know, I don't want to like have every date and every mint in 62, 63, and 64 grades. I want to have mostly 65s and 66s and some 67s, and I would never complain if I ever got a 68 or a 69, but I'm assuming that I'm not there yet unless I got lucky. I don't know. 64, 65. It's like I probably looked at a terrible 65 there. It's probably got another one. We've got another couple sitting there. Could bust out. I just wish that they were 1974s too. Once again, we have a nice bright coin. We've got a little bit of black floating on it, some other distraction floating on it next to the date. No real damage. I'll take it. Let's look at the back. Black. Is that floating on it? Could be. Looks like it's mated to the coin. 64. Oh no, that front looked really nice. I almost want to say that like the front makes up for the one spot on the back, making it a 65, but we'll call it a 64 here. What do you guys think? Let me know. Don't let me go crazy here alone. Take a look at the front. Left field looks great. Right field, a couple distractions. It's bright. fairly nice eye appeal when we can see through the Mint Cello shine. Take a look at the reverse. Scratches on the bottom, scratches on the top. I believe that scratches the bottom. And now let's call it a 64. Just too many distractions. Alright, we are getting through this roll faster, I think, than we've gone through any. I think it's just because there's been enough coins I've been like, nope. Nope. Alright, we'll give it a fair shot here. I mean, this almost looks like that 65 we were looking at a minute ago. Alright, we've got distractive spots. I see scratches underneath those spots. Is any of this on the cellophane? Is this a mud penny? No, it looks like it's on the penny. What do you guys think? I think it's on the penny. And the reverse? Reverse looks a little bit nicer. Is that a hair? It's a hair. That's cello damage there. I don't know, 63, 64 in my opinion with all that stuff. Call it a 63. I wouldn't even want a 64 with that on the front. Alright, we've got front. I like it. Is that what is that up at the top? Let's move it around. It's just on the cello. No, it's appearing to be on the head or something. Or above the date there. Okay, I like this one. Let's call the front 66. Alright, we've got one thing above this N. Let's say a 66 can have one thing wrong with it. Let's call this one a 66. I like it. I'm gonna just call that one a 66. We'll believe it's possible. Oh no, I've seen 67s with more going on than that. We got a hair. I believe that's cello damage on the right side. I believe that is a scratch to the left side of his head and a scratch below God. So we got two little things, possible one below Liberty. But still, let's say if we got a nice back, this could be a 65. Looks like we've got a couple scratches on the reverse. I'm going to call it a 64. No spots, that's nice. No spots today. Alright, looks like this one's a little bit darker as I've spotted. Hello, Spot City. So yeah, like, alright, this is not, once again, this is not in the auction. No, this 65. That one is, this one is more. So we'll say no to this. Well, what do you guys think? 62, 63? Take a look at the back. I wouldn't want a 64 that looks like this. You know, I guess with me it's like, I mean, but then it's funny too, because like I say that, but let's say this is on the way to like, you know, red brown. Let's say that it's toning, but I don't think it's toning. I don't think that's what the spots are. But it's like, you know, you can have something that has really nice details, good strike, and it's a red brown. You know, you can have MS66 red brown. I've seen MS67 red browns before. I was looking at some MS68 red brown 1960s, I think, the other day. But at the same time, I don't think that they go for nearly as much as the reds do. So let's look at the front here. You know, I'm seeing a little black dot and some very, very tiny scratches. Let's call this a 65 on the front. Let's take a look at the reverse. I see spots. I see scratch. No, I'd say the back is a 64. Let's call it a 64. A hairy 64. Hey Carmen Rodriguez, welcome to the channel. Sorry, I got you guys on another monitor so that I can have my studio open on here so I can see the coins in real time and not be like, what is it? Welcome to the channel. We're just looking at a roll of Mint Cellos, all from 1974 from the Denver Mint. And we're just kind of doing a review from an auction that we got on eBay of 50 of them, and then we're going to post them right back up on eBay for sale. And we're just kind of like playing like guess the grade here. We're looking for damage, just trying to figure out what the average grade for these are. Not seeing any big scratches. Don't really see any spots on the front of this one. I'd say this one, you know, let's call this a MS65 on the front here. It does look like there is a little bit of toning going on the right side of the rim there. The right side of the coin does seem a little darker. Kind of see it right there. You can see it around the D in the Denver Mint. The reverse looks like it might have some toning on the right side too. Yeah, it shows up. But it's just kind of like a red-brown toning. The reverse here, it looks pretty clean too. No spotting. A couple very, very minor like kind of scratches or dings that happened at the mint. Let's call it an MS65 red-brown. I'd say it's toning, but it's not toning like, it's toning like a red-brown tones. That's cool with me, but it's not what we're looking for. But I guess that's kind of, we were talking about how, you know, just because something has some tone doesn't mean that it takes down on the grade. It just means it's not a red coin. So it looks like we have a scratch below the S and the T. Looks like that's just floating stuff on the cello in the center of the coin. Very, very fine scratch on the left field. I'd say this one still could be a 65 here. If the back is perfect, we could maybe push a 66. I'd say the back is not perfect. What's going on with the N? That's just cello. I mean, it just it seems like there's unevenness to the fields. Maybe there's a little bit of toning going on here that I'm not quite seeing. I know after the front, let's call this an MS65. It's possibly going towards the red-brown. Alright, we've got like 4 or 5 more coins coming up. It is almost 8 o'clock. Who knows, we might do another video tonight, not sure. Alright, next coin, we've got distractions galore, we've got little scratches, we've got spots. You know, we've got a nice bright coin it looks like, but let's call it a 64. The back looks like it's got a couple little spots, kind of some darkened areas. I don't think it's enough to call it a red-brown, but I think just we're just going to pass. We're going to call it a 64 or something. Didn't look bad enough to be a 63. Who knows? Got like a circular scratch there. Is that really what that is? It's like a hook. It's a very, very interesting scratch. Here, we'll pop it around in the cellophane and see if that disappears. Looks like Captain Hook gave this one his signature at the Mint. I don't think I've ever seen a scratch like that. I've looked at a lot of coins. You know, this happened at the Mint, but That's just a fascinating scratch. All right, we've got something going on Lincoln's head there too. We are not gonna get this one graded, folks. I believe that's just the Mint Cello on the one there. The reverse actually does look pretty nice. There's a couple little random spots it looks like, but well, we're gonna pass once again here. 3 more coins. Oh, I think I see one really spotted one. Oh, this one's got some spots too. Lucky us. No wonder I got such a deal on this one on eBay. This one has been run over by a vehicle, it looks like, inside the mint. No, I don't know what happened to it, but I don't think a vehicle would have done it any worse. I believe this is on the coin. Somebody picked these up to put them in mint sets with their bare hands after they smoked a cigarette or something. We've got a couple very dark cuts on the back. I mean, it's funny, that like kind of looks like the closest thing I could say that looks like it's a fingerprint. A very large thumbprint. But it's in the Mint Cello, so that's, I'll grab the one that I can see the obvious. This one looks like a fingerprint too. What do you guys think? Was Mint employee picking these out of somebody just forget to put their gloves on? I mean, that's a fingerprint. Come on, Mint. Like, maybe this is more common than I think, but like, that looks 100% like a fingerprint, like a very, very large finger. Like, they're like, oh, look at that beautiful coin. Oh, I don't need to put my gloves on. I wash my hands before work. But I mean, other than that, like, look. Like, this would have, like, to me, other than that, it looks like a 66. Even a 67. Let's check out the reverse. Yeah, got the rest of his thumb there. Is there any other damage other than the thumbprint? I'm not seeing anything. It's like a beautiful coin, and they destroyed it with their fingers. Lovely. What's going on here? All right. Finger City. All right. Picked him up by his shoulder. At least it's not quite as noticeable this time. They're Gem BU coins, people, picked up by Mint employees and carefully put in sets. Sure. See what happens to that right field there. Not that it matters. There's a giant fingerprint on it. I think it's still there. Okay. It was bright. It was shiny. The Mint employee couldn't resist it. It's got spots on the reverse. I'd say some of these spotted ones, it's like, I'm gonna find that one with, yeah, let's go back one. I mean, while we're talking about it, can fingerprints go through the Mint Cellos? Like, could this have been like some really sweaty collector? Should I be wearing gloves when I go through? Do you guys go through gloves? Or do you guys wear gloves when you go through mint sets? Maybe this is something we should talk about. Ouch. Ouch. Like, 'cause look at how pretty of a coin. I mean, do you guys see anything wrong with this coin other than the Mint employee's fingerprints? I mean, that doesn't look like it's oil, like, struck through grease. It doesn't look like just grease. It looks like fingerprint. Can you get an MS-67 coin with a giant fingerprint on it? Is that a thing? I think that this is the prettiest besides the fingerprint, it's the prettiest coin that I've seen in a mint set yet of a Lincoln, of like all the dates and mints. However, it's got a giant fingerprint on it. So yeah, I'm curious, can fingerprints go through the Mint Cello? Um, was it just the Mint employee saw a beautiful coin and picked it up, like, oh, this one's gotta go in a mint set, it's really gotta go, I'll just pick it up and put it in, it's so worth it. We'll never know, huh? I'll ask some of the smart people here on YouTube. We'll find out more. We'll find out answers, people. So I'm going to take a little break here after I end this stream, and I might do another one just because I've got I've got like 100 rolls of Mint Cello, like 50 of every date to go through, and it's like, you know, this is like my next project. It's going to take me like a third of a year. And I'm doing all the graded PCGS coins, so I might just do another one tonight. But yeah, I'll have to see what date and what mint to do next. But the ultimate goal here is to get 1,000 of every date and mint in Mint Cellos, and then once we get there, we're just going to go on a grading frenzy with PCGS and just start doing bulk submissions and doing them bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until we've got every date and every mint covered. And in the meantime, these are all these rolls I do. I'm making videos of them, posting them back up on eBay. They'll all be up there for sale. If anyone sees something they like, you guys are welcome to make an offer on them. And once I've got all the dates and mints and like 1,000 of them, so that I can go through and just cherry pick at that point, because if I have 1,000 examples, then I'll just, you know, send in the 25, 50 best of every date once I have everything. Yeah, that's the plan here. And hopefully I will be able to just get some really nice examples of every date and every mint so that I can keep my store fully supplied, because pretty much things are selling faster than I'm able to buy new examples of them graded by PCGS on my store. I'm happy about it. And then it's like some mornings I'm just spending my entire day packaging up stuff and sending stuff out to the post office. And I'm not able to list more stuff, but I figure if everything ends up eventually selling, then I've got to list stuff. So everything balances out at the end of the day. But I'm going to say good night and thank everyone for watching. Thank everyone who has subscribed over the past 5 months. I think there's over 350 of you guys who have been watching and supporting. Thank you guys. I couldn't have made 2,700 coin videos without your guys' support. And we're going gung-ho this year. I've got at least 10,000 more videos planned for the year here. And while I'm making those, I'm going to be planning the next phase of the evolution of this channel. We're just going to try to bring you guys more and more content. We're going to try to get you guys so much content that you guys don't ever have to stop watching. Whatever you guys want to see, I'm down. I love coins. I could do this all day long, every day. Just give me coffee and coins and I am a happy guy. So leave comments if there's anything you guys would like to see. I've got almost every date and mint of the Memorial series now. I'll take that back. I don't have all the 90s and all the 2000s just because I figure I can get those. I want to pick up and grab as many of the older ones as I can while they're still readily available. I'm just kind of prioritizing those first. But I will eventually get all the other ones in. I know a couple other people who are getting a lot of the newer stuff graded. And there just seems to be a huge gap in the 60s and 70s and 80s, and I'm trying to fill a need here too. Trying to do my part in keeping things fluid. So thank you everyone. Sorry, I'm just talking. Wish you guys a wonderful night. See you guys very soon. Thank you. Good night all. Good night.